Midnight whispers. Listen carefully.
I attended Marcus Webb's funeral on a Tuesday. I cried. I helped carry flowers to his grave. And then, on Thursday morning, he walked into our office, sat down at his desk, and asked me why I looked so pale. Nobody else reacted. Nobody else even looked up. That's when I realized I might be the only one who remembers he's dead. I want to start by saying I'm not someone who believes in ghosts. I'm 34 years old. I work in IT project management for a mid-sized logistics company in Columbus, Ohio. My life is spreadsheets, coffee, and deadlines. I don't believe in things I can't explain, or at least I didn't. Marcus Webb joined our team about 2 years ago. He was one of those people who made the office feel lighter, always the first to crack a joke during a tense meeting, always remembered your coffee order, always asked how your weekend went, and actually listened to the answer. He sat 2 desks away from me. We weren't best friends, but we were the kind of close that only people who spend 40 hours a week together understand. Last October, Marcus didn't show up on a Monday. That wasn't unusual. He had flexible hours sometimes. But by Wednesday, our manager Sandra pulled the team into the conference room. Her eyes were red. She'd clearly been crying before she walked in. Marcus had died on Sunday evening. Heart attack. He was 38 years old. No history of heart problems, no warning signs. He went to his sister's house for dinner, said he wasn't feeling well, and was gone before the ambulance arrived. The office went quiet for the rest of that week in the way that only happens when someone young and healthy dies suddenly. We all went to the funeral that Saturday. I remember standing at the grave and thinking how wrong it felt, how someone so full of energy could just be gone. We came back to work the following Monday with his desk empty. Someone had moved his coffee mug to a shelf near the window. A small thing, but it helped somehow. That lasted exactly 3 weeks. On a Thursday morning, November 14th, I remember the date because I'd been in early to prep for a quarterly review. I walked into the office at 7:45 a.m. and Marcus Webb was sitting at his desk. I stopped walking. I think I actually stumbled because my foot caught the edge of the carpet and I grabbed the nearest cubicle wall to steady myself. My brain just rejected what I was seeing. Like when you see something that doesn't belong and your eyes keep trying to correct it. He looked completely normal. He was wearing a blue button-down shirt I recognized. He had his headphones around his neck. He was looking at his monitor and typing. His coffee cup, the one someone had moved to the shelf, was back on his desk, steam rising from it. He looked up at me. "Hey, Tom, you good? You look like you've seen a ghost." He laughed at his own joke. That familiar laugh. I couldn't speak. I genuinely could not form a single word. I walked to my desk on autopilot. I sat down. I stared at my screen for probably 2 full minutes without blinking. Then I looked around the office slowly. 3 other people were already in. Janet from accounting, Derek from logistics, and our intern, Priya. None of them were reacting. Janet had actually swiveled her chair slightly to say something to Marcus, and he'd responded, and they were just having a normal conversation. I pulled out my phone and scrolled back to the group chat from our team. The messages were all there. Sandra's message telling us the news, people responding with shock and grief. Me typing, "I can't believe this, he was just here on Friday." I pulled up the funeral home's website. His obituary was still there. Marcus David Webb, survived by his mother, 2 sisters, and a niece. I looked up from my phone and he was still there, real as anything. I spent the entire morning telling myself I was losing my mind. Grief does strange things, I thought. Maybe I was more affected than I realized. Maybe I'd had some kind of dissociative episode and had confused things. Maybe the funeral hadn't happened. Maybe I dreamed it. At lunch, I drove to the cemetery. I found the grave, his name, the dates, a small vase of fresh flowers that his sister must have left recently. I sat in my car for 20 minutes and then drove back to the office because I genuinely didn't know what else to do. When I walked back in, Marcus waved at me from his desk. "Tom, did you grab lunch? You look awful today, man. Seriously. You need to eat something." I smiled. I nodded. I sat down. That night I called Janet. I told her I'd been having a hard time since Marcus passed, just to see how she'd respond. There was a long pause. "Who's Marcus?" I felt the floor shift under me. "Marcus Webb," I said. "From the office. He sat 2 desks from me." Another pause. "Tom, I've worked with you for 4 years. I don't know anyone named Marcus." I hung up and sat in the dark for a long time. The next morning I came in early again. Before anyone arrived, I walked to his desk and looked at it closely for the first time. His name placard, his sticky notes in his handwriting, a photo of his niece pinned to his cubicle wall. All completely real, completely physical objects I could touch. I opened his desk drawer. Inside was a folded piece of paper. I don't know why I opened it. Something made me. It had a list of names on it, 8 names. Mine was 4th from the bottom. Next to each name was a date. The first 7 dates had already passed. I stared at that list for so long that my eyes started to blur. 8 names, 8 dates, and mine, Tom Calloway, sitting 4th from the bottom with a date I recognized immediately. 3 weeks from today. My hands were shaking when I refolded the paper. I put it exactly where I found it, closed the drawer, and walked back to my desk like nothing happened. Because what else do you do? Who do you call? What do you even say? "Hey, I found a list in a dead man's desk and my name is on it with a date that's 3 weeks away. Can someone help?" I Googled the first name on the list that night. Raymond Castillo, Columbus, Ohio. The third result was a death notice from a local paper, dated 4 months ago. He'd worked at a shipping company downtown. Heart attack. I Googled the second name. Patricia Moen, Minneapolis. Gone 7 months ago. Cardiac arrest. She was 41. The third name, David Nkosi, Atlanta. Dead 5 months ago. He was 36. All heart attacks. All seemingly healthy people. All between the ages of 30 and 45. All with dates next to their names on that list that matched exactly when they died. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning I came in and watched Marcus more carefully than I ever had before. He did everything right. He answered emails. He joined the 9 a.m. stand-up. He made a joke about the coffee machine being broken again. He seemed completely, perfectly normal. But I started noticing small things. He never ate. In 2 years of sitting near that man, I'd seen him eat lunch every single day. Usually something his mom packed, always something that smelled incredible and made everyone jealous. Now he sat through lunch breaks without touching food. When someone offered him a piece of birthday cake for Derek's birthday, he smiled and said he was watching his sugar. He never left for the bathroom. Not once. In an entire 8-hour day. And his coffee, the coffee that was always steaming when I arrived in the morning, I never once saw him actually drink it. I started keeping notes on my phone. Small observations, timestamps. Because I felt like I was going insane and I needed something concrete to hold on to. On the second week, something shifted. He started paying more attention to me specifically, asking how I was feeling, commenting when I looked tired, offering to cover parts of my workload when I seemed stressed. "You need to take care of yourself, Tom. Seriously, stress kills, man. I'm not even joking." He said that last part with a smile. but his eyes didn't match the smile. That was the first time I felt genuinely, physically afraid of him. I called in sick the next 3 days. I told myself I was overreacting. I went to see my doctor and got a full cardiac workup because the paranoia had gotten bad enough that I was convinced something was physically wrong with me. My heart was perfect. Doctor said I was in excellent health for my age. I went back to work on a Thursday. Marcus wasn't at his desk when I arrived. He wasn't there at 9 a.m. or 10. Nobody mentioned it. Nobody seemed to notice his absence the same way nobody seemed to notice his presence. At 11:15 a.m., he walked in. He was wearing different clothes than usual, darker. He sat down without saying anything to anyone. No jokes, no coffee. He just stared at his monitor. At 12:30, he turned and looked directly at me. "I've been trying to make this easy for you," he said quietly. The office noise continued around us. Keyboards, phone calls, someone's Spotify playlist. Nobody looked up. "What?" I whispered. "The list," he said. "You weren't supposed to find it that early. The others didn't find it until the last day. I thought maybe you'd be more comfortable knowing." I couldn't move. "I'm not going to pretend anymore, Tom. You already know. You've known for 2 weeks." "What are you?" I asked. My voice barely came out. He looked almost sad when I asked that, like it was a question he'd heard too many times and never had a good answer for. "I'm what comes before," he said. "I make it easier. I keep people calm. The ones who don't know me, who have no face to attach to what's coming. They're scared at the end. I try to make sure the people on my list aren't scared." "I'm not dying," I said. "My heart is fine. My doctor just checked." "Your doctor checked your heart," Marcus said. "Not everything comes from your heart." The room felt colder. "Take the 3 weeks," he said, turning back to his monitor. "Do the things you keep putting off. Call your brother. You haven't spoken to him in over a year, and you know why that hurts you. Go see your parents. Eat the food you love. Watch the sunsets. People always think there's more time and then they're angry when there isn't. I don't accept this," I said. He nodded slowly like he'd heard that before too. "Okay," he said. "That was 2 weeks ago. I called my brother that night. We talked for 3 hours. I visited my parents last weekend. I've been watching sunsets from my apartment roof every evening. I don't know if any of that matters. I don't know if I'm going insane or if everything I've told you is real. But if you're watching this, I made this video because I needed someone to know, and because I have 1 week left on that list. I'll try to post an update. If this video is still up, I'm okay. If it's not, you'll know why. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because if I do post again, it means something very important. And if you've ever felt like someone was watching over you before something bad happened, drop it in the comments. I need to know I'm not alone.